When I thought of doing a series of interviews with some fabulous, driven, and talented women, Adrianna immediately popped in my mind because she is all of those things. I met Adrianna a few years ago through Instagram. Can you believe it? She was an up-and-coming, unique portrait artist with licensed deals and book cover behind her belt. She embellishes her portraits with textures, golden dust, gemstones, even neon, making them truly one of a kind. I love with your workspace.
This is my inspiration. I'm really into eyes. This is a Pat McGrath one that I think is just absolutely fabulous.
When did you know that this is what you're gonna do? Actually, let's sit down. Okay. So we're on.
Well, I never set out to be an artist, right? I set out to actually be a fashion designer. I went to fashion school, I studied fashion. And after working in the industry, I started a blog, I started a jewelry line, and eventually this sort of led to me becoming an artist. So when I started posting for my blog, I used to collage them and make these pieces with these collaged people wearing different trends onto my social media sites.
I love those.
And people really responded to it, and they wanted to see themselves as these collage dolls with these trends. I've added elements from my past working in fashion, so embroideries and screen printing and embellishing with rhinestones. So that gives them that pop and that color and that life.
How did you get your very first order?
Okay, so the very first order that I actually got came from someone quite well known, which was Caroline Stanbury. She was on the show Ladies of
London.
Yes,
adorable.
She had reached out. She saw I was doing my blog post with the different characters, and she had seen one, and she wanted one for herself.
Now, how long did it take you to get from the beginning to this point?
I would say 15 years plus.
Did you have everything that kind of became part of who you are, or was there something that you're like, okay, I could have totally lived without it, you know?
Absolutely not. Like regrets. There's definitely no regrets. There's nothing that I would have tried to do sooner. No, I mean the whole process, everything that I've gone through, everywhere I've worked has contributed to what I do today. And each place I've worked at has been educational, and I've worked really hard to develop my signature style, and it's just through a process that you can't speed up or shortcut through. So I used to do these bracelets and did the spike. That was my sort of signature.
Yeah, and even right now, okay, stand up for a second. Very edgy. Hold on, I need to see your belt. Well, it's
vintage
pretty.
Versace.
Yeah, I can see it's really fantastic.
Yeah.
I could never pull off Versace.
Oh, you could. You totally could.
I think you just have to feel it. Oh, look. Is that your notes, or somebody wrote it for you?
Yes, yeah. Whenever I have thoughts or ideas or whatnot, I just scribble it down quickly, yeah.
Oh, I like that idea. I'm going to start using it. So many times I found myself that, I see something, an idea sparks in my head, and I'm like, okay, I should put a note to it. Don't do it for whatever reason, and I'm like, oh, it's okay.
Yes.
And then of course, sure enough, I have no clue what I was doing, what I was thinking, you know. Right. And then the whole idea is lost, and those are good ideas.
Happens to the best of us.
Now, you got licensing deal.
Yes.
So tell us about it.
I was actually approached by a clothing company recently out of New York to do a t-shirt and hoodie line. So that's coming out later this year, and I'm really excited about that.
I want to have a piece.
Absolutely. I will.
Do I get a discount? Your parents had bed and breakfast, right?
Yes. So it didn't start that way.
Ultimate dream job, to have a bed and breakfast in somewhere quiet, you know?
Yes.
And that's where you grew up.
I grew up in a hotel, basically. Yeah.
Why did you choose LA?
LA to me has so many different pockets of different types of culture, and there's the grittiness of downtown LA. I mean, there's the beauty of Malibu. West Hollywood is vibrant and colorful, and food. Like I never had an avocado until I came to LA. Can you believe that?
Me too.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, but I'm not coming from Canada. I'm coming from Armenia. There's no avocado in Armenia.
Right.
But I guess, like, because I would expect that in Canada, they probably have.
Yeah, well, we didn't, I don't think there was, like, the variety that you get in LA. Like, just restaurants, even.
Well, I think even in other parts of US, you don't get that variety that you get in LA.
Exactly.
LA is very colorful.
And that's what drew me to it.
Yeah.
So right before I met my husband, I started a little t-shirt loungewear line, and using screen prints, using my artwork as screen prints for it. And then I met my husband through a mutual friend, and we actually merged our lines, and we carried on doing his line called Jack and Ginger.
Now, what is your day kind of looks like?
I wake up about 7:30. I go to the gym every day during the week, Monday through Friday. So Saturdays, Sundays I have the weekend off, but I try to push that.
Every day. Oh my gosh. That's good. Well, my goal is 3 to 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. If I do 3, I am like so proud of myself.
Right. It feels like you did something, you accomplished something, right?
3, I am like really happy with myself. Yeah. I'll be really happy with 2 also. But if I do 1, it's good.
It's good, exactly.
Back to your schedule. Do you have a discipline when you go, you sit down, like for a writer, you have to like have a time, you get dressed, you sit down with your laptop or whatever, and you just write.
Right.
Every day.
So yes, discipline and working hard at your craft is really important for me, to be able to not only finish my work, but also explore new techniques and push myself.
When you have days when things are just not working for you, like how do you move forward from that point?
Well, I actually allow myself to just take a break, and maybe that sometimes when that happens, it's like a sort of a natural point in your journey as an artist or as a writer, where you just need to step back and do something different and give your mind a break. Because I think the longer that you don't allow yourself that break, the more frustrated you become as well. You kind of like need that break.
I have to do that.
And sometimes you just need a 30-minute break. It might be just like, for me, sometimes I need to step back from a piece, go into the living room, have lunch, and then I come back and my perspective is completely changed on the piece, and I get back into it.
It all starts here.
It does.
It comes and goes around and around, all from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's ebb and flow all the time.
Yeah. Okay, I want to show your home.
Sure.
Pretty with all the paintings. That's the work that you're working. Yeah.
And this is something I literally just started working on, being inspired by Julian Schnabel, the artist, where he used mixed media.
Yeah.
Like broken ceramic plates to create texture. So I used actually these pieces under her face here are resin. When I was resining that piece there, this was the stuff that dripped off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so this is actually resin from that piece.
I wanted to ask you about this neon piece.
Mm-hmm.
What made you kind of like realize that you can use neon? Not touching it, but
you can touch it.
I can?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, it's my first time ever touching neon.
Oh, really? And?
It's very smooth and soft.
Yeah. Well, it's glass that has a gas running through it, and depending on the type of gas that they put in, it changes the colors.
Is it like difficult to work with neon?
It is.
You have to like cut it or something, right?
It's
in the back.
They cut it and then they use fire to shape it. the project.
I'm always so impressed. You're always like on a lookout with new things, and you just go for it. You know, like let's explore, let's try.
Exactly. You don't really learn if you don't try it out. You know, trying something new, something different.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You love vintage stuff, right?
Yes. And this could be a surprise for both of us. We'll see how these have held up. So this one I got from a woman who it belonged to her grandmother, and she was a socialite back in the 1920s. And Lexington, Kentucky was, I have the story still because she wrote it all out, and that went along with the dress. This is original. Just feel how light that is.
Yeah.
So now imagine all this beading on it.
Probably should rent it out to me for my son's wedding. I was looking for a dress.
Yeah, and you have to wrap it in these are acid-free tissue paper.
Yeah.
You don't want to wrap it in regular tissue paper because it has acids in it. So
those tiny little white tissue papers have acid in it?
yes.
My friend was collecting stamps, and I was like, okay, well, let me collect it too.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would be like just collecting it and have, like, I could care less. And
Right.
she would,
She
would be just like this. She would be like so delicately touching every single stamp and showing me with like not fingers, with something.
Right. With
And
gloves on.
was showing me like, oh, this is this stamp, this is that stamp. I was like, oh.
Technically, I should have gloves on too.
One last thing, let me put it on you. You have gone through like a whole, you know, like through years of growth to get where you are. I mean, with all these amazing paintings. If you ever, like if you can go back to your younger self, and what would you say, what would you advise yourself? Say, Adrianna, and then fill in the blank.
Right. To listen to my gut sooner than I did. I felt like that's something that I only developed as I got older. Do you feel the same? Like as you get older?
I mean, I got it much later than you did.
But whenever you get it, it's amazing to know,
it's
like
such a liberation.
Right? Like that you can trust yourself, that whatever you were thinking, whatever you thought was the right thing to do is the right thing. Like
It's the right thing to do.
you shouldn't doubt yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I had a daughter, I would be like telling that every day to her.
Yeah.
You trust yourself. You
Right.
trust yourself. You trust yourself.
Your gut is usually right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
People, my favorite, like on top of my favorite people's list is this girl, Adrianna Kinal, and please follow her. It's gonna be all in description box below, and I hope you loved Adrianna as much as I do, and I'll talk to you later.